Hi. So let's look into the definition of a variable. So what is a variable? A variable is a named memory location in which data can be stored. So how do you declare a variable? So you specify the data type and the variable name. So the data type can be byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. So here we are just taking int data type which allocates 4 bytes of memory, and the name of that location is n. So let's consider this is the variable location and the name of the variable is n. So what is the default value of a variable? Integer variable, the default value is 0. Now let's try to visualize a variable as an independent house. So a variable as an independent house, so it can be visualized like this. So I'll tell you why you have to visualize as independent house. When you get to know arrays, it will be easy for you to learn the programs. So a variable is a named memory location in which data can be stored. How do you declare a variable? Data type and then the variable with a semicolon. Now let's look into what is an array. So what is an array? An array is a collection of variables having same name and same data type. So a variable is one single memory location, but an array is multiple such locations, but it has same variable name and same data type. So what do you mean by that? Let's see some examples. So here there is this data type here, int, and a is the array name. Square brackets indicate that it is it's no more a variable, but it is actually a array variable. Just the square brackets indicates that it is an array variable. Okay, so sorry. So here I'll just write it here. So int specifies the data type, a is the array name, and square brackets it's indicating that it is no more a variable, it's an array variable. So now little different, an array variable is also called as a reference variable, because when you say int a square brackets, a reference variable is created and the default value of a reference variable is null. It's somewhat like the nameplate of the house. What do you store in the nameplate? The address of the house or the name of the house. Here in the nameplate we just store the address of the actual memory, but we have not yet created the array at all. We have just created the array reference but not the array. Now how do you create the array? So what we will do is we will use the new operator. Say sometimes they say new is an operator, they say new is a keyword, whatever it is. So new is an operator which allocates memory. So what kind of memory? So it allocates integer kind of memory. How many integers? 5 integers. So one integer is nothing but an independent house. So 5 integers is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 integers. They are all in the gated community. Each house has a house number, 0th house, first house, second house, third house and fourth house. So or you can also visualize it vertically, ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor and fourth floor. So that can be a multi-storied building. Both are fine with me. Now there will be an address of this entire community, and that address will be stored onto the left hand side. So that is nothing but on the nameplate of the entire. So let's say these are all the villas which are there in Palm Meadows, so or Brigade Metropolis. So there is an address for Brigade Metropolis. That address will be stored onto the left hand side. Here I have just stored a random address number 575. So what happens? This nameplate will start pointing to this villa community or a multi-storied building. I hope this is clear. So we'll just replace all the independent house, because an array is nothing but collection of independent houses. Collection of variables is a, so each independent house is an integer, and integers have default value as zeros. Now completely remove it. So you can, how do you declare an array of 5 integers? Declare the reference variable and allocate the memory, default values will be initialized. You can also combine these two steps and write it as int a square bracket equal to new int of 5. Or you can also do it in one another way. This square brackets can be just after the data type, like this: int square brackets space a equal to new int of 5. Never ever write the size here. This square brackets indicates that a is an array of integers. Use an operator which allocates memory. What kind of memory? Int kind of memory. How many integers? 5 integers. This is how you declare an array of 5 integers. I would want you to pause this video, write down all of this in a pen in your notebook, then come back and then I will explain few more things in this slide. So I hope you have written down. If not, pause the video, go back, write it and come back. So do not continue without writing this. Now what are these 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4? These are nothing but index or subscript. So they are either called as index or subscript. Now what about this entire thing? So this entire thing, each house or each stuff, we can't call it a stuff. So the name is called as array element. So this is the second element, this is the third element, this is the fourth element. So these are called as array element, or you can also call it as subscripted variable. So what are this 5, this 5 and this 5? This is nothing but array length or array size. I hope this is clear with you. One last topic in this, they might ask you a question on what is a subscript and what is a subscripted variable. So let's look into what is a subscript. So the index of an array element is called as subscript. So the ground floor, first floor, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are nothing but the index or subscript. The index of an array element is called as subscript. How about a subscripted variable? The array elements in an array are called as subscripted variable. So the actual ground floor, the actual first floor, the people there, so that entire house can be called as the subscripted variable. Example, a of 0, this is the ground floor, or this is the 0th house. So that's how it's going to be. Now one more question can appear, that is the difference between length variable and length function. So what is the differences? So length is a variable and length open and close parenthesis is a method in the class string. So please understand, this is a variable, this is a method. So what? So length is used to store the number of elements in an array, but length open and close parenthesis is a function which is used to compute the number of characters in the string. It calculates the string length and then returns. Now there is no return type because this is just a variable which stores the memory, stores the data. Here it's a function, so it will return. So it has a return type called as int, and this is used to store arrays, used with arrays, and this is used with strings. I hope these are clear. So in the next video tutorial, we will look into how to declare an array of long integers, float, double, char, boolean, and so on and so forth. Keep learning, keep growing.